Hey, everybody, welcome to PEP Talk, the podcast that helps you with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, where we take complex health and medical terms and terminologies and make it super simple so that you understand it and you can take daily action steps. Hey, I'm Dr. Eric Nepute. I'm here to take you down this journey of healthcare and wealth care on a level that, well, you haven't been down before. So today I want to talk to you about a concept that we're hearing a lot about in the healthcare and wellness space right now, and it's a concept known as cell signaling technology. So what does that mean? Like, let me back up. We know the importance of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, eating clean foods, making sure that our body has the right ratio of fats, carbs, proteins. We understand that, right? By the way, 20 years ago, we really didn't understand that. That was a new conversation then. Now it's a common sense daily conversation that we know that if you're not eating clean, you're at a higher risk for inflammation and symptoms and ultimately disease and disease. And we know that if you're not supplementing with the right nutraceuticals, that you can't get the right vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and et cetera. The food supply that we have to this day just doesn't have it in it. But the idea of cell signaling technology is a newer conversation. Health and wellness experts like myself have had these conversations now for several decades, but it's now making its way into the mainstream. And I want to have a conversation today about the idea of cell signaling technology. What I need you to understand first and foremost is that the human body is an absolute amazing creation. In fact, if you really take a microscope and dig deep into the anatomy and physiology of cellular well-being, you'll see that our cells have all these little machines working in them, all these little, mitochondria and cell structures. And, when you see actin and myosin literally grabbing protein and walking down a muscle fiber, it's amazing when you look at the human body really is a cellular factory, if you will, with all these little components to it. And those components in your cells are vitally important to grabbing all the vitamins, minerals, nutrients, fats, carbs, proteins, and fuel, if you will, to repair the body. It's been said, and I agree with this, that the quality of your health is in direct proportion to the quality of the health of your cells. And if you don't have healthy cells, you can't have a healthy body. Well, we know that cells make up tissues. Tissues make up organs. Organs make up organ systems, and organ systems ultimately make up a organism, which is a human being like you and I. Standard conventional healthcare that you and I are primarily used to focuses on tissues, organs, organ systems, and ultimately the organism that has symptoms. You go to a doctor now or even a natural practicing physician, most of the times they're going to focus on the symptoms and the diseases you have. They're going to say, hey, take this pill for this illness, or do this thing to help you manage those diseases. Really, what we should be focusing on is the cellular aspect. Because if we can get the cell function to improve, we can get the tissues to improve, the organs to improve, the organ systems, and ultimately the organism is healthier. Doesn't that make sense? Let me break it down a little further for you. So if you understand that your body needs raw material to heal. So like if I'm going to build a house, I need, wood, screws, glue. I need raw materials to build that house. Well, the human body's raw materials are vitamins, minerals, nutrients, fats, carbs, proteins, all those components that we are supposed to get through our daily diet. Diet is lifestyle, through our lifestyle. Well, you need to have the raw materials to build a house, but you need to have somebody take those raw materials and put those to work. Those are what we refer to as cell signaling technologies. These are things that are known as enzymes, peptides, stem cells and exosomes, part of your microbiome, the master microbiotics that make up our microbiota, hormones, and other what are called secregogus cells in the body that secrete chemical compounds that tell your cells to wake up and go to work. They're literally the chemicals that tell your cells go to work. And people are hearing a lot about peptides right now, right? Peptides are all the rage, even though peptides and peptide therapy has been around for a long time. I mean, it's been around since the 1940s and 50s, maybe even before that. But peptides are being used in daily routines now, like collagen peptides, glutathione. There's medications that have peptides that have been used for a long time. I mean, You're using peptides, NAD, in your daily protocols all the time. All these peptides are short chains of amino acids between, 2 amino acids and up to 200 amino acids that are put together in a sequence. And think about that sequence of amino acids when they chain together, called a peptide. Think about it like a programming for your computer. Your human body really is nothing but a bunch of code and programming. And those peptides go in the body as a code, and they signal to the cells to go to work. And different peptides signal different cells to do different physiological things, which gets us a different outcome. And what's interesting is, and this is very important, and I know you feel this, but I want you to understand this, that once we get over the age of 30, we as human beings lose about 90% production of the capacity of our cells to signal. We lose hormone production. We lose peptide absorbability. We lose enzyme production. We lose our microbiome. We lose our microbiome sometimes at birth. Sometimes we don't even get our microbiome. We're supposed to get our first healthy microbiome coming down the vaginal canal, getting exposed to our mother's microbiome. But most people, especially those that are C-sections, or those that live a standard American diet, or those that were raised on baby formula, or those that have recurrent exposures to antibiotics in either the form of medication or in the form of your food supply, don't have those signaling technologies like they're supposed to. So our body can't take the raw materials and put it to work. You see, the body needs not only raw materials, vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, fats, carbs, proteins, and etc. It needs the worker bees to put it together, but then it also needs a blueprint. Like, your contractors have to be able to read a blueprint in order to tell you what they're supposed to do and how to put things together. That's your DNA. So, we often talk about that self-care is the real healthcare. And how do you learn how to take care of yourself? You got to learn how your cells are signaling. You need to find out the function of your body's ability to absorb protein. Because if it can't absorb protein, which massively goes down once we get over the age of 30, that's why most people, when they eat meat, they get fatigued, they get upset stomach, they get bloated, they can get constipation or diarrhea, or they can have other symptoms. Because if the proteins that are ingested don't break down, they don't break down into amino acids, and those amino acids can't form into peptide compounds naturally in the body. So we need to understand that if we understand the genetic makeup of our body, live our lifestyle according to that, have the right cell signaling nutrients in our body, and have the right raw materials, those are the 3 keys to really getting your body in the right direction to be healthy. So I wrote a couple notes down I want to share with you all about cell signaling technology in humans. And I need you to understand that the body's building blocks, like I said, are those vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And the contractors, or the worker bees, are your stem cells, your exosomes, your peptide hormones, your peptides, your hormones, your microbiome, and so much more. But most people have imbalances in almost all of those. And then they go to their doctor and say, hey, I have a hormone problem. Well, your hormones might be out of whack because your gut bacteria is off, or because you don't have enough peptide production in the body. Like, there's a hierarchy to your health system in your body, and getting those cells to signal is so important. And cells, listen to this, cell signaling technology aims to enhance the communication between cells and boost the production and activity of stem cells, of enzymes, of peptides, of hormones, and of microbes in the body by optimizing these processes. So it's important that you have some type of delivery system and nutraceutical that you can take on a regular basis, especially those of us like myself that are over the age of 30. We lose 90% of the production of those in our body. So you should be supplementing with enzymes at every meal. You should be taking a master microbiotic supplement at least daily, if not every night at bedtime. You should be supplementing with the right type of organic peptides that can help your cells signal. You should be looking at what can you do to improve your stem cell and exosome production. You should be looking at where are your hormones at and what can be done naturally to get those hormones to go back to work. You see, many of you understand the power of TRT, or hormone replacement therapy, right? You notice a change, not just in how you feel, but how you look. because your body now, if it has the right hormones like testosterone, can grab raw materials like protein and help put more muscle mass on. Well, peptides can do the same thing. Microbiota can do the same thing. We know that there are certain bacteria in our GI tract that are cell signaling fungi and bacteria that if we don't have enough of, we don't have an immune system. That if we don't have enough of, we don't have proper metabolism and we can't lose weight. That if we don't have a balance of the right bacteria, the right type of worker bees and cell signaling in the GI tract, that we can't have the right neurotransmitters to our brain and we have a higher risk for anxiety, depression, and other neurodegenerative diseases. So this whole concept of cell signaling technology really is a powerful thing for you to understand. Let me give you some real life examples. This is a patient of ours. His name's Tom. Tom's 50-year-old athlete. He noticed a massive decline in his muscle recovery and performance as he aged. He decided to try some peptide therapy. He used BPC 157, ipamorelin, and a peptide called CMAX. He did a 90-day protocol of this with a daily injection of those. Thank God there now are oral delivery systems for peptides that you don't have to inject your body with. But Tom did this, and he noticed almost immediately improvement of muscle repair and growth. His recovery time between his workouts improved. He was able to reduce body fat and improve muscle mass, which is a game changer, because if you understand some of the results of what are known as the longevity studies have found what are some of the most important things that you need to have in order to live a happy, healthy, long life. And one of those is muscle mass. The more muscle mass you have going into your, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 100s, and so on, two things happen. It reduces the risk of neuromuscular skeletal damage, things like arthritis, joint pain, and those debilitating things that ultimately cause disabilities with folks. And we know that muscle mass is so related to the amount of being able to balance your insulin and your blood sugar levels. Your muscles are the organ in your body that absorbs glucose more than anything else that's out there. So it's the key to keeping blood sugar issues like diabetes, insulin resistance. And we also know that type 2 diabetes, if it is prolonged in the body, turns into type 3 diabetes, which is early onset Alzheimer's. So we know that that's important. Here's another real life example. This is Sarah. She's a 41-year-old female patient of ours who experienced weight gain and fatigue due to hormonal imbalances. By undergoing the right hormone replacement therapy, making lifestyle changes, and using a tripeptide formula, Sarah was able to restore her hormones naturally, balance her weight loss, get her weight loss to go back, regain her energy levels, and it helped her thyroid function start to normalize. I mean, this is what you should be talking to your functional medicine doctor about. But even more than that, this is the research that you need to be doing, because look, if self-care is the real healthcare, if you don't understand, number one, your genetic profile of how you should live your life, it's hard to, in my opinion, make a decision of how you should eat, how you should sleep, how you should supplement, those kind of things. And if you don't understand that we get over the age of 30, we're losing 90% of the production of the major cell signaling compounds, the microbiome, peptides, exosome stem cells, enzyme function in the body, and hormones. You need to supplement those things, right? That's what supplements are there to offset the stress that happens with aging, and also the stress that happens with a bad lifestyle. Let me give you one more. This is a real life example of another patient of ours. This is Michael. Michael's a 32-year-old man who suffered from chronic gut issues, including IBS and including leaky gut syndrome. And it was discovered that he had massive deficiencies in some bacteria in his GI tract. We did a fecal sample for him. We put him on a master microbiotic formula, and we gave him two really powerful peptides, one being BPC 157, which is made up of proteins from the stomach and GI tract to help heal the GI tract. Once you get leaky gut, those cells start to separate and we leak toxins into our bloodstream. This helped him. He said, look, I did this protocol for 90 days. I changed my lifestyle. I incorporated the right type of postbiotics, prebiotics, and probiotics. I started doing cell signaling technology changed my lifestyle, and now he doesn't have those problems anymore. What I'm trying to impress upon you is if you understand the power of cell signaling technology and lifestyle modification, it can change your life. So, so let's talk a little bit about some of the lifestyle modifications that are necessary to improve the function of your cell signaling technology and capabilities in your body, because we all have those. And you can do things to improve your own system's production of stem cells, of gut microbiome, of peptides, and even of enzymes and of hormones. So what are some of those? Number one is nutrition. Whatever you do from a nutrition standpoint, stop eating the standard American diet. Anybody that follows the conventional food plan is not going to be set up for health. Look, 12 to 14 servings a day of carbohydrates is going to lead to diabetes and inflammation. That's in the food pyramid. Having dairy and casein, a couple servings of that a day, that's one of the biggest allergies that most people have. Dairy is a problem for folks. So we always tell folks, cut out the gluten and the carbohydrates, cut out the casein and the milk. And just doing that alone can reduce chronic inflammation and reduce your cellular inflammation, which when that cellular inflammation is down, now the body has the ability to start to make more peptides, to start to make more enzymes, to start to balance the microbiome naturally, and to produce more hormones, peptides, and etc. So that's a big one. So how should you eat? Well, you should eat based off of your body type and based off of your genetic profile, which is why I tell people to run some type of nutrigenomic DNA discovery kit that can tell you how you process fats, carbs, proteins, utilizing that information to maximize the best foods for you, because what's good for you is going to be different for other people. Look, we live in the 21st century of healthcare, but of technology, but the 21st century of healthcare, we're still probably a decade or two away from that. We're literally practicing in the 20th century still. So changing your body and then starting utilizing the power of intermittent fasting. We know that fasting can help the body go through a cellular process called autophagy. There's data that shows that intermittent fasting can improve enzyme production in the body, can reduce inflammation. That then leads to improvement of the gut microbiome. That then leads to the improvement of hormone production and the body's ability to make its own enzymes and break down, digest proteins so they can convert into amino acids, which then are what makes up peptides. So number two is exercise. There's study after study after study that shows that regular exercise, especially pushing weights, and by the way, the older we get, the less cardio we need and the more pushing of weights we need to get that muscle mass to go up. It's good for our muscles, our joints, and our bones. You want to prevent osteoporosis or osteopenia, you got to push that weight, but you got to have those minerals in your body as well to make those bones be stronger. So we know that exercise supports a metabolic balance that helps not just with weight, but helps with inflammation. And that helps the body reduce the cellular inflammation, which then can improve enzymes, which then can improve stem cells, which then can improve peptides. The list goes on and on. There's multiple studies that shows that regular, consistent exercise can also improve the function of the microbiome in the human body. Stress management is a big one. You guys, most of the stress that we have, which is self-inflicted, that stress causes the release of certain hormones and primarily things like cortisol. Well, cortisol not only destroys the gut bacteria, it causes leaky gut, but that cortisol can also turn your brain into Swiss cheese. If you've ever seen a cross-section analysis of somebody's brain under a microscope that has Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, or you see that there's little holes poked in the nerve tissue. Cortisol can be one of those tissues that does that. So cortisol, by the way, which negatively impacts your adrenals, and your adrenal glands regulate your sex, your salt, and your sugar in your body. Well, if your blood sugar, your minerals, and your hormones get out of whack, that's going to accelerate the aging process. So stress management is huge. And there's so many things to do for stress management. We've done different podcasts on that, but it negatively impacts the cell signaling capabilities of the body. What about sleep? Sleep is another big one. There are multiple studies that show the quality, not just the quantity, but the quality of the sleep that you get has a direct relationship on your blood sugar, on brain function, on gut function, and on cellular health, which again, if those start to degrade and go down because you're not getting the proper amount of sleep that you individually need, which by the way, what you might need might be different than what I need. And there are genes that can tell us, if there are certain genes that tell us you can get away with 6 to 8 hours of sleep a day. But there are other people that have genes that require 8 to 10 hours of sleep a day. And it has a lot to do with their lymphatic system and how their brain drains and resets. And if you don't know that, you could literally be chronically depriving yourself of sleep, which can lead to a whole myriad of long-term problems, including cell signaling dysfunction, which means you can take all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients on the planet, but if you don't have the chemical compounds to turn those cells on, it's not going to work like it's supposed to. Obviously, supplementation is a big one, especially supplementation targeted to your genetic need. For example, if you have a gene imbalance known as MTHFR, which I'm going to tell you the vast majority of human beings on the planet have, and as more people who have this gene imbalance reproduce with each other, more people are going to have that genetic imbalance, which means you can't methylate, which means your body's going to be toxic. It can't convert certain foods and nutrients into energy, so you're going to be fatigued. It's going to lead to thyroid issues, autoimmune issues, migraines, fatigue. The whole list goes on and on. So supplementing with the right type of B vitamins, methylated B vitamins, could be a game changer for that person. But if you don't know you have that, you don't know what lifestyle changes you should do to help your body make that shift. So the whole concept of cell signaling technology, it's been around for a while, but you've got to understand that everybody has an individual unique need, an individual unique code. That's why when you go to the nutrition store and you see all these different supplements, there's stuff for your eyes, your ears, your nose, your throat, your bowels, whatever. It doesn't even work that way. Your body needs those raw materials, but those raw materials need to be put to work by the worker bees in your body. And I'm telling you that most of you that are watching this podcast right now, you don't have enough raw materials. You don't have enough peptides. You don't have enough enzymes. You don't have enough of the right bacteria. You don't have enough of stem cells and exosomes and hormones. And you can take all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients on the planet, but if you don't incorporate the workers into the process, it's not going to work like it's supposed to. And then you need to understand how your body works. And I'm telling you, if you haven't done so, I'm a big fan of doing a nutrigenomics genetic profile, a DNA discovery kit to help you figure that out. And there are other podcasts that we've done that goes deeper into peptides, deeper into hormones, deeper into enzymes, deeper into the gut bacteria, and deeper into that DNA discovery kit that you should do. So folks, listen, I need to understand that knowledge is, but wisdom is taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. And that's what we're all about here on PEP Talk podcast. So folks, look, what I want you to do is this. I want you to take this information. I want you to go back and rewatch it again. I want you to share it with some friends and family members of yours, because this is common sense health. The problem is that common sense, well, it ain't that common anymore. So folks, check this out, share with your friends, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms, because people need to know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So folks, until we meet again, I'm Dr. Eric Nepute. Please go to our website. It's PEPTalk.world. That's PEPTalk.world. Share friends and family this amazing technology that will change your life if you'll let it. And it's time for you to start taking your health and wealth into the 21st century and beyond. Until we meet again, I'm Dr. Eric Nepute. God bless you. God bless America, and God bless the world. Stay smart out there, folks, and I'll see you next time. Be well.